everybody. Hello, how are we doing? I hope everybody is doing well out there. Give me a little quick in the chat and let me know that you are here, who's here, and how your week went with journaling. So welcome so much to amyhillcreates.com and our weekly series, Journaling with Intention. And I really appreciate those of you who have been joining me. We're officially in week 3. And so I hope that you've been able to journal. I hope that this has been helpful for you. And let me know for my sake, because that kind of helps me decide what's going to be on the show, is how are you doing? Are you journaling? Is this helping you? What parts of the show are helping you? Do you go back and take a look? So let me know. And it's so nice to see you. I see you, Pishi. Got a little mixed up with Central and Eastern time. That's okay, but you're here. And what's nice, I know it is Eastern time, so I like this because it's a little bit like I've kind of gotten all my errands done for the weekend to get set up for the week. And now I have this like little rest period where I can kind of take some time and think about myself and set myself up for the week before I got to go make dinner and do bedtime and stuff. So I thought that this would be great. Hey, Anne. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Alicia. And hi, Regina. Oh, Regina, it's Tina. They do call you Regina on there. Hi, Tina. I'm so glad you're here. And so today I had kind of a crazy week. This was just a really busy week. It happens. And so I wanted to use today. I was going to do something else, but I wanted to use today to talk about what you do when all of a sudden the crazy hits, right? Like your schedule gets out of control, or you have a late night meeting, or just all these things that are happening. And so how do you stay grounded? So how is it that you stay grounded and allow that crazy to kind of swirl around you? And how do you protect yourself? And that's what we're going to be talking about today in this show. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Mishi, that it's helping a lot. And I'm glad that you are also happy that you're taking a little time every day to craft. And that's what we're actually doing. And hi, Avril. Oh, that's so great, Alicia. It's helped you to think about everything and how we all support each other. It is true. It's like, it is kind of interesting how that community piece, which we have lost, let's face it, a little bit over COVID, it's that community piece that really we all need and we all crave, and that really helps. Hi, Helen. And hi, Tracy. Again, and your friends are keeping you grounded. That's great. And you're right, Anne. What do you do when there's some sort of emergency or something, then you're in the hospital? Or how do you kind of keep that grounded? So that's what we're going to talk about. So my question today is, when crazy hits, how will you protect yourself from the storm? Don't let it pull you into the tornado. So I have this visual of Dorothy as she kind of goes up into the tornado. And how do you stay on the ground when the wind is and the tornado is swirling all around you? All right, are we ready? So we're going to talk about this week. How did your week go? What is something? So what we start with on the show is when you look back at your week, kind of taking that introspection. What were the things that worked for you? You looking back at your intentions, and what were the things that worked for you, and what are the things that you want to refocus on this week? And you may want to set up your journal a little bit differently to make sure that you're prioritizing those. You may want to set yourself a couple of to-dos today to make sure that your week is set up well. And so I'm going to get into that because I did not have at least a fabulous focusing on me week. This was a week when I definitely got swept up into that I got swept into what was going on in my life. So I'm going to kind of add some things into my journal that will help me to put in this week. And we call this journaling with intention because I feel like the word goals is like a set finish line. And that's not what this is about. It's really about what things do you want to do with your life? How do you want to live your life? And then what are the habits that you need to build in order to get there? And that's what we're doing. All right. So I'm so glad you guys are here. Do we have our journals? And do you have some pens? Do you get some stamps? We're using kind of the things we're going to do. And yes, refocusing on your work. But you know what? You exercise 2 days out of 6. That is pretty good. So that is, what is that? 1/3. That's 1/3. The 1/3 of the week. You got it. So now you move up. Can I get to 2/3? That's what you do. Or can I get over and add in another day? So now I have 3 days out of 6, right? And so that's what you're trying to do is how do you kind of move those along? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my video down. So we're going to look at my desk. I'm going to show you all the stuff that we're going to work with today, and what those ideas are and how did I get there, and all those kinds of stuff. And again, the goal is that you use, so shop your stash for this. Use what you have. I know you bought those fun pens, pull those out. You probably have some different stamps, things you haven't used yet. All those supplies that you have, even if it's just a piece of paper and a pen, use that. It's not a big deal. It's really just about taking that time to set your intentions for the week and then figuring out how you're going to meet those intentions. That's all. All right, so we're going to go ahead and come down. All right, and so I am here on my desk, and so here is my little journal. And so what I want to do today is I want to set up 4 pages today. And I want to talk, before I head over there, I'm going to talk about my week. And then we're going to set up this page. I'm calling this the self-care routine. This is how you stay stable in the storm. So I talked about being Dorothy, being pulled up into the tornado. And when your life starts to swirl around you and you start that kind of that tornado, how do you not let those winds drive you up into the tornado, and how do you stay on the ground? And that's what these 2 pages are going to be. And then this is going to set up our next week. So we're going to do 4 pages. So just a reminder about our pages and what we have done. So when we started, and if you're just starting with us this week, please jump in. It's a great time to start is today. There's no better day than today to start. So we started with our focus for the year, and I just broke it up into 3 pieces, which is family, home, and personal health. So these are the things that I want to be more intentional about this year. And then this was our January, and we started probably about halfway in January. And so I set what I wanted to do to get those done. And then I set my first week, and the way that I arranged it is I need to write down, I eat the same things in the morning and in the afternoon, but my dinner's different. And we're trying something different in my house about dinner. So I'm actually writing down what our dinners are. I have to track my mood to tell my doctor, and I want to be more creative. So I'm tracking that, and I'm tracking water. I'm tracking when I'm walking, and I'm tracking when I'm stretching. And then I am putting in a little bit of a reflection piece about what to work on next week. So yeah, I like that, Alicia. Stop and remind yourself that you're doing your best and just breathe and move forward. I think that's great. And Tracy, those to-do lists help a lot. They really, really do. And because it tells you what it is. And Tina, no, but you're not behind, Tina. Today is your day to start. So hi, Saskia. And yes, you bought pens. I think the pens just help. And I agree, Mishi, that the trackers just help a lot. It just helps to see it and visualize it about what you have done. And so this was our week last week. And so I wanted to show you guys that. So I take a little bit of time with a pen and a ruler. And I've been using these graphs in order to track what I'm doing. And my water intake this week was not really fabulous. So that's definitely something I have to redouble my efforts on, because I need a lot of water. I'm just a person who drinks a lot of water. I drink a lot of liquid. And it's tea. So my water is tea, and also I drink green tea every day, and then I also drink water. And so my goal is 80 ounces, and the highest point I got was probably about 30. And if we compare that to the week before, I was really up and down. So in some ways, I was more consistent at not drinking water. I just want to put that in. But I can connect that with my mood and how I was feeling. And the way I kind of track mood is I just put a little emoji face in there. And you can see as the week went on, I was not doing so great. I have a lot of not happy emoji faces. And then I switched over from tracking minutes of exercise or minutes of walking to steps. And that didn't work out super great, because these DNTs means did not track. And the reason why is because I didn't charge my watch. So I didn't have my watch, so I had no idea. So I also did 2 out of 6 days here, is I tracked these 2 days. And then we had a kind of crazy winter, Arctic bomb that came in, and that happened here. So there was no going outside for anybody. So I might want to change this. So that's my tracker page here. And then I took a moment and kind of rethought of, I thought about the week, and that was where my question is, which is when crazy hits, how will you protect yourself from being swept up into it? How are you going to not be Dorothy being swept up with little Toto into the storm? So that's a great idea, is to have a tracker for your mood and colored it as the characters from the movie Inside Out. I love that movie too. That's great. And Avril, yes, consistency is good. It's really all about being consistent, because once you have the habit in place, and that was really what it was. Last week, I wasn't even bringing my water bottle in. This week I did. I just didn't use it. So it's just about kind of making those little bit of steps. And that's a good idea, Tina, putting it a little, I don't mind it being bland. That's okay. I'm okay with water on that one. And I did have a 12-hour, but I wasn't drinking water though, Saskia, during my 12 hours. I was doing a little tea and just a little bit of water. So, thank you so much. I try to put in a little bit of coloring just to make this a little bit pretty. So it's something that I want to use. So I think about that in terms of the color choices I put in. And then I'm using colored pencils because I know that my paper isn't super fabulous in going there and making sure that the ink doesn't bleed through. And I like using stencils, so you can see how the nice soft stencils we had here when we set up our February, and of course using washi tape, and then this is a die cut. So that's where we are. All right, so I would love it. Don't wear red shoes. Not happening on that one, Avril. No red shoes here. I would love it if you just took a moment and please share this while we are live, just to see if anybody else is interested in joining. If you found this to be helpful, please share it out with your friends so we can add more people and help them out in setting up their monthly intentions. And I'm going to go ahead and get started. So these 2 pages, what I'm doing here is I want to set up kind of, I'm kind of calling it a self-care routine. If anybody has a different, if anybody has like a different title, then let me know, because that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now, is like, what are the things that are gonna help me to be sane when the world gets kind of crazy. And then this is a list that I can go back to, that when I'm feeling like, okay, I'm not feeling well, or when I'm doing that mood tracker, I can go to this list and say, all right, these are the things that I know. What am I not doing? And that's going to help. And I like that idea, Tracy. Put 8 tight rubber bands on your wrist, remove them, to drink water every 8. That's a good one. And then you'll want them off your wrist. Yes, you would. Of course, I'd be snapping them all the time for me. All right. So let me know again. Are you journaling along with me? Are you watching? What is it that you are doing? Let me know in the comments. Oh, steps to a better me. That's a good idea. Oh, that's great, Tina. And just you can grab a piece of paper, Tina, for today, and just kind of jot some ideas down. Like, what is it that you kind of want to do? What are your intentions? And that's a great way to start today. Sunday reminders to the people I know. Thank you, Saskia. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So kind of like way we had in the beginning where I use bubbles or a circle, I'm going to create circles here in order to highlight. There's 4 categories that I want to hit when talking about intent and talking about these self-care things. And the 4 categories I want to hit are kind of rest, expression. These are the things that I feel like I need in order to kind of stay grounded. So feel free. Companionship. That's definitely the first one for me that I don't follow through on. And health. Does anybody have any other categories besides those? Oh, thanks, Avril. Yes, I'm glad that you, Saskia, thanks for reminding Avril. Watching and journaling. Drinking tea in a bottle of sparkling water. Good for you, Avril. I'd love to know what type of tea you're drinking. I don't think it's berries, right? What do you have there for your tea? Steps to a better me. Oh, that's nice, Tracy. All right, these are some great ideas in here. Action. Okay, I think so. Staying grounded. I kind of like these. I kind of like that idea of staying grounded because I'm almost, again, I'm thinking about like Dorothy and that tornado and not going up. So we don't want to go up. We want to stay grounded. That's my visual for this, is how do we stay grounded and not go up? So, yeah, I was thinking expression is like, that's the craft. That could be crafting, that could be singing, that could be dancing. I didn't know they made, yes, I did know that they made decaf berries. Okay, I knew that. Berries being a amazing Irish tea for that. All right, so I'm actually going to do two things here. So I'm going to draw the circles and then we're going to prettify these pages and kind of get them all set up. So I just grabbed, these are the Hero Arts Infinity circles. And if you have any circle at all, or if you have, just a circle in your stash, whatever you have, all I did was I just grabbed a size on, you guys are going to all ask me what size this is. And I'm like, I don't know. I just put it in. And I just grabbed a piece of scrap paper. This is just scrap paper. And the size that I'm using on this is 2.5 inches. All right, so this is 2.5 inches. Let me put that in nice and big. And for those of you who are metric people, this looks like it is 7.3 centimeters, it looks like. All right, that's for all my friends over there in Europe and abroad. So about 2.5 inches to 7.3 centimeters. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and I'm going to take my fine liner pens. And again, love this pen set because you have, Saskia, you got that, right? 7.3 centimeters. Like just grab a die or you can start, you can do it. Oh, and that was actually, I was thinking as well, Mishi, was like things to be grateful for and 3 things accomplished. I like that as well. Yeah, Saskia, I have to tell you, I actually think in metric. So I don't do well with fractions. I don't do well with fractions. And Mishi, I was thinking about that as well, as having like a gratitude list. And that might be something that I work into my weekly tracker, or things that I'm grateful for. I think I'm going to add that in on my weekly tracker. All right, so this is a great set because it comes with 3 different sizes. So there's a 0.05, a 0.01, 0.02, and a brush tip. And I'm actually going to use the 0.5. I want something that is really, really thin. And I'm just going to draw 4 circles. So this is for each of my categories. If you want to use more categories, feel free to do that. But I'm just going to draw 4 circles randomly around here. I want to make sure I leave a little bit room for my title. I just realized I don't have my glasses on. So this is another fun thing of getting old, making sure you have your glasses on because I can't see. All right, so I'm just going to draw these randomly. And this is going to be my bubbles. This is going to be where I am writing down these ideas for staying grounded. So in the fury, in the flurry, how do I stay grounded? Because it's going to happen. I was thinking about that this week, and I was a little mad at myself for allowing myself to get to a place where I was feeling overwhelmed. But I kind of realized it happens. And it's not about that happening or not happening. It's about my reaction to it. So how did I react to a situation where it was a little overwhelming this week? What did I do? I did what I usually do, which was I get swept up in the tornado. So, oh no. That's right, Avril. You craft in inches, huh? That's interesting. And Tracy, no glasses here. You broke them at lunch. Okay, I know you're doing this squinting then or something. The best you can. That's what you're doing, Tracy. At least this is kind of large. It's not like we're doing super tiny detail stuff. I'm just tracing a circle here. Nothing major. And I like doing this because I still have this die cut and I can continue to reuse it. And if you're working with me, I've also cut a mask. So I use that same die. So keep that die out, and I actually cut a mask using that die, using that same die out of Altenew masking paper. And if you don't have that, you can just use a Post-it or piece of paper or piece of scrap paper because we're going to be stamping around these and then coloring in a little bit. There we go. All right, now I want to put, I don't know if you guys have this die. This was a die I didn't really love, but I think it's actually, I think now I know why I have it. That makes sense. This is the die. And it says be kind, and I want to add be kind to yourself because that's something that I want to remind myself of. And I wanted to go down here in this corner. So I'm not going to put any circles down here because I want to add this little phrase of be kind to yourself. Yeah, right? It's just, I don't know. I agree, Saskia. It was just kind of a crazy week. All right, so I was in this one, so I'm going to go out here, and then I was out here, so I'll go in here. That's what I'm kind of alternating it that way, just for eye pleasingness, if you will, and also to add in my next part. And I'm going to be using a small. This is sophisticated wreath. That's the one I'm going to grab. But if you just have like a small flower set, or even just any large flower set that has tiny flowers, or if you have a stencil that does leaves. I was going to pull botanicals for those of you who are Altenew fans. I thought that would be pretty. We're going to be masking these, so whatever you use really isn't a big deal. So I may actually grab dot botanicals, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second. It's kind of a bigger set, so I didn't end up doing that. Okay, and yes, I cannot freehand a circle. All right, so then I get my little be kind guy. Just want to make sure I have room for him. So I'm going to come up just a little bit here on this. And I like to have different ways of representing stuff because in neuroscience, the brain likes difference. It likes things that are a little bit different. When things are the same all the time, the brain has a tendency to not necessarily register it all because it's not perceiving it as a threat or really super important. So it's always good to have a little bit of change. So sometimes I like to change up these layouts and then my brain will will react to it versus just saying, oh, well, it's the same thing. Oh, this was great, actually, Avril. That would be an awesome idea to use the Gina K Wreath Builder. I never thought about that. That would be good, especially if you had these as loose pages and you were putting them in a book. Mine is already bound, so it'd be a little bit tough, but I was thinking it would actually be better if I created this as loose pages instead of a bound page, but it's working now. All right, so on here, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to write in my topics, and then we're going to get to kind of decorating this and making it pretty and everything. All right, so this is the big one. I'm actually going to use a bigger pen. And I'm going to grab the 2. Here's the 2. And this one is rest. And I'm just going to write it a little bit small. And you can use like colors if you want. I'm going to have a lot of color on here. So I'm okay with I'm okay with using black right now. All right, so that's rest and relaxation. Can you guys see that? If you need me to zoom in fact, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit because I realize how close I'm getting with these things. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. Sorry about that shadow there. All right. And yes, absolutely, Tracy, billboards, you don't see them after a while. And yes, Avril, the subconscious, it thrives on repetition. But if because it kind of knows what the heck to expect as what's going on. I'm going to add health on this side. And I'm going to write it over here. So health. And these are all the routines like the water drinking, exercise, washing your face, brushing your teeth. That's all that stuff that's going to go there. And then over here, I'm going to put in companionship. And then on this bubble, I'm going to put in expression. And this is, again, it doesn't have to be crafting, but this is for me, this is where I would put coloring. It might be dancing. It might be, you know, making movies or videos or whatever the heck it is, but it's just in some sort of expression of you and of yourself. All right, so now that we have those in, now what I want you to do is just take a minute and what do these mean for you? So when we think about things that help you to stay grounded within each of these categories, just write 2 things down. That's how we're going to start. As you kind of move through your week or as you move through your day, as you there's things that you really like to do or not so much, then you can add on to this list. That's why I want to use the black, because I know that no matter what color I add in, I'm going to be able to see that black in. And I want to color these in like bubbles. You know, like soap bubbles. That's how I want to end up coloring these in. All right, so this is definitely sleep. And you can even put in that you need so many hours or so many times or whatever it happens to be. I like to use, this is meditation. And for me, this is using essential oils. So I have lavender. I'll put that in. I have a couple of other essential oils that I use, but that's what I do. So any other things that you have here? So rest and relaxation. It might also be reading, if that's something that you like to do. So that actually is something that's fun. I like reading. And I got a Kindle. I'm really enjoying it. Just got one. So those are kind of some of my rest and relaxation things. And then for health, the way I see this is really about your like skincare routine. This is exercise, and I'm going to put that in with things that I like to do. Like walking and biking. This is your food. So good food, healthy food. And those are kind of the big things for me, I'd say, for health. Oh, and picking my vitamins. Oh, sometimes I don't. And then over here for companionship, I definitely have to say, since this is where a lot of us have met, is Saturday crafty afternoons, maybe calling a friend, talking. And sometimes it's just like I have to get out of my office and just things. You know, Avril, I know you probably wouldn't have guessed it, but true crime and murder, murder mysteries. Somehow I just feel like I'm not having such a bad day. No, I really love like whodunits. That's my favorite kind of things. I was a huge Nancy Drew person. So yes, water. And yes, chatting. Oh, yes. And that's just it, Tracy. Sometimes you just need somebody to chat to. And we can even add in texting, right? So if you have a text chain or a text group, those are some things that you might like. And then for expression, I have my card making. I have scrapbooking. I love scrapbooking. I love coloring. Photography, something that I want to pick up more, and is photography. I actually, I'm going to see if I can get a way to audit the photography teacher's class. I want to do that. So anything else that you have, and honestly, journaling. And that probably could go under meditative, but decorating or coloring my journal and my rest and relaxation, I'm going to put this over here, is journaling. So those are the things. So this way we have a little list of all the things that we feel like this is going to help us stay grounded. All right, so I'm going to add a title up here. And I want to use my stamps to do that. And I am going to do this in black ink. So I'm going to grab, and I like to use a dye-based ink for this. And this is on my list. I actually got to get the regular, so normal size pads. I know though, Tina, though. You got to love. All right, Avril, I'm so glad that you also like them as well. So I'm going to check that out because I just discovered that you can borrow books electronically from the library, which has totally changed the way that I think about these things. I think that's crazy. So I love it though. All right, I think I want to keep it. I think I want to keep this relatively small. I don't want it to be floaty. I actually kind of want this to be, actually, you know what? I'm going to change it up, kids. I'm going to change it up. We're going to go a little rogue here. I don't know if you guys know this set. This is called the This Is Your Day set. And I'm going to go, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Learning home. Yep. And for your Spanish too, that you're learning, Tracy, that's something that you can put on here. All right, so I'm going to use this set. This is a really neat set. It has some nice phrases on it. So we have happiness, this is your day, okay. And then it says you can do it. And the way this is, and I like that there's this whole section of typography on the Altenew website. And I talked to Jen Raza, who's one of the co-founders. She just loves fonts and typography, and I do too. So I'm actually going to grab this happiness, and I'm going to go happiness is, and I'm just going to kind of push that across. And I hope to heck, if this doesn't work, then I'm just going to do it as a die cut. In fact, I think I'm just going to do this as a die cut and cut it out. But they don't know if I have the dies. I don't think I do. Or I didn't pull them anyway. So this happiness is in 2 parts. Oh, it's in 3 parts. And each of them are waves, and they're stamped on top of each other. So I want to do something like happiness. Make your happiness a priority. There we go. Make your happiness a priority. And that is great. All right, so I pulled out all of those. One of my intentions, use your stuff. Absolutely. Oh, thank you. And we got some languages. I know we got Dutch and Spanish. And thank you, Mishi. This stamp set's cute. It's something that I've actually used to do some cards, like graduation cards. I thought that was great. Like the This Is Your Day is great for graduation cards. This one's kind of cute. And but I really been thinking about how to use this happiness piece. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this on here. And I think I'm going to put the happiness here just because it's easier to stamp on this page. And that way I can do make your here happiness a priority. And I'll do it that way. All right. I'm going to do this in some kind of funky-ish colors. So let me get this all set up. And I'm going to stamp it upside down just because of where everything is located on my desk. All right, so I'm going to start with the top part here. And I haven't used this one before, so I just want to condition this stamp. If I can find my stamp conditioner over here. All right, we're going to use just an eraser. And I'm just going to double check the guide because I have not stamped this before. Oh, that's so wonderful. Never leave yourself behind. Oh, I like that. All right, so again, happiness. So the happiness, and then that little part. So we can do this in 3 different colors. And I think I actually like those colors, so I'm actually going to use those. So let me grab an olive out for inks. All right, so I'm going to go from blue to green to olive. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to start with the blue. And I want to do this in Lagoon. And I don't think I can do this upside down, so we're going to do it this way. All right. So I'm doing this a little freehand. Again, if this is, if you're nervous about stamping in a book, I obviously have done this before and made mistakes. So then I just die cut and I just tape it on top of it. So that's kind of what I do. And I am going to stand up, so I apologize if I come into frame here at all. Three, four, five. Okay. All right. That actually worked. Woo. All right. Yes, please. And help each other, because this is a community that we're building, which is part of our staying grounded, is that community. So please, I think all of our suggestions are great. All right. Thought I lost my eraser. Didn't. It's here. All right. And I think anything that you can have, like, I appreciate that Mishi had, talked about the quote that she had, never leave yourself behind. I love those quotes. They're little things that you say to yourself. And I was watching some sort of, I think it was a TikTok or a YouTube thing where somebody was talking about being your best friend. And if you, say negative things, because all of us kind of have that, we may say negative things to ourselves, but if you said that to a friend, is that something that you would say to your friend? And if that's not, then that's where you kind of need to start, is with that self-talk. So what is it that you say to yourself every day? So I think those quotes are helpful. Yeah, power positive affirmations. I think that that's helpful. Just to say, you know what, I'm making it. I'm doing what I can do. Today is what I can do. And that's that. I love how that kind of goes with that little line. Okay, and that's the second one. And then this is our last one. And I'm going to do this in a little olive. All right. I might be over my circle, but I'm okay with that. That's the whole point of this, is I wanted to eventually overlap all of these things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Gosh, how many days are there in Dutch Duolingo if today's day 1410? Or is that a little sarcasm on that one, Avril? Because it feels like you'll never get to the end of learning Dutch. It's a complicated language. All right, I think I want to do this in black. All right, so this one says a priority. So making happiness a priority. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I'm glad you're doing it at all, Avril. My language abilities are really terrible. Even though I took French and Latin, probably better at Latin than I am at French. Although I did use my French when I was in Sicily, of all places. Never think about that one. All right, so that's our make our happiness a priority. And then what I'm going to come and do is I'm going to use these same colors. And I like this set a lot. This is the spring bouquet set. And if you have like some pinks, so I'm just grabbing some pinks and I'm grabbing some greens. And when I do my greens, I like to actually add a little bit of blue to it. So I like using the seashore set. I'm just going to grab a little volcano lake there. All right, I'm just going to do a couple to show you. Just to kind of give you an idea of how this could look. And this is, I'm going to see how this goes, but I might add a little washi tape up here just for a little bit extra color. All right, so I had at some point in time, here it is, a mask. And I'm just masking this off. And this mask is reusable, so I can use it on all of these. And I want to make sure we have enough time to start our next week's page. So I'm just masking this off. I don't care about my words because I wrote those in black. So I know those are going to show up. But I want my, I'm going to color these circles in. And so I don't want them to be stamped on. All right, so I'm going to grab this, which is Sophisticated Wreath. And what's neat about this is it has this branch, and then it has these sections of this flower. You don't have to go and do all of these layers if you don't want to. Even just this layer is really pretty. Like if you just put those together, I think is nice. But if you wanted to, you could add a little bit more. And then it has this little cluster of flowers, and then it's got these little sprigs of leaves. And so, and that's what we're going to do is just kind of go around and just add these in. So I'm going to start with the leaf right here. I'm just going to put that right on my stamping block, and I'm just going to add some color in here. So let me grab, I'm going to grab this Forest Glades. And the way I like to do this is on my stamp itself is I start by adding a lighter, like kind of the lightest color I want to use. So in this case, it is Forest Glades. Now, if you really want to kind of get that ink in where you want it to go, you can use a blending brush. But what I do is I just start to, so I want to add a little bit of Volcano Lake, and I just want to add that kind of bebopping around in a couple of places. And then I just want to add a little touch of evergreens on the edges. And if you feel like it's a little too harsh, then you can take that blending brush and just stipple it in, and that will kind of mix it up. Don't do too much because then you're going to pull that ink off, but that's what I wanted to do. All right, so I'm just going to take this and I'm going to do my best to stamp this down, knowing that I just kind of moved it, but that's okay. And this is not going to get the best impression because I didn't put that down first. So yeah, well, Irish is hard. Irish is a hard one. If you feel like it didn't come in that's super great, then you can just take your pens. This is just lines. It's not a big deal. And you can just take some lines, and we're just going to add a couple of branches. And this is just a way, it's a little meditative that you can go in and kind of color these in. And if you have a bunch of different colors of pens, then you can add in those too. So if it didn't come out fabulous, that's totally fine. We can always make it fabulous. All right. And I'll just add a little bit more. A couple of branches up in here. So when I take that mask off, just to show you, we now have a little branch, hopefully, that is in there. So that's what it's going to end up looking like. Could you put the back of your stamp back and put it, you could put the back of your stamp back. Yes, I could. That's probably a good idea. That's going to give me a surface. I will try that next time, Tracy, okay? Yeah, that's going to give me a better surface there. That one's a little high. I know what you mean, and I will try that next time. All right, so let's try that again on this side. So I'm going to start it again with the Forest Glades. And you could draw this in if you wanted to as well. You could do a little bit of drawing. This time I'm going to put the Volcano Lake on the outside. And then I'm going to grab that. I'm actually going to grab the parrot and go up the middle with the parrot. This way it just gives it a little bit of some differentiation in color, so it's not all one color. And let's see if that works, Tracy. I'm just going to pull my mask off, and I'm just going to put that on my next circle. Okay, Tracy, here we go. Moment of truth. Everybody waiting for me? Okay. All right. How are you all doing out there? I know I'm a little bit off camera. Here we go. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right. So just to show you. There we go. Yeah, that worked a lot better, Tracy. Thank you. So I'm just trying to give it just a little bit of color around these edges. And I'm just going to do, so what I would do is just kind of keep on going with these two. These masks are great because you can save them just by putting them back on here. And now I have my mask ready. So it's ready to go for my other two. So I just wanted to show you, that's what I would do is fill this in with the rest of my stamping. That way I put some flowers in there and whatnot. And I want to put that little Be Kind in so I can show you what that looks like. So what I did for this Be Kind die, and there's two parts to this die. There is a shadow version, and then there's the solid one. So this is the shadow, and this is the letter. So just to show you what the difference is. So you can see how those work together. I actually want to cut this out of, I usually like to cut these out of vellum. I could cut it out of black, but I didn't have any black. Maybe I have some dark green. That might look nice. All right, I got some dark green. And then I had, I was just going through my craft stash, and I have this like piece that I made a while ago, and I'm actually going to cut this out of here. Just to get, just for a little bit of variation and color. And I think that would look nice on the green. All right, so I'm going to use this little guy. He's called the Mini Blossom. Oh, good. That's excellent, Mishi. That you're taking this time to kind of write your intentions down. And I love that you're using that word. Thank you. Because it's about setting your intentions, and it's about saying, all right, these are the things that I want to focus on this week. But every week is going to be a little different. The things that you feel like you have down and that you've been doing really, really well at, that may shift. Sometimes you're not, it's going to be a little bit harder. Sometimes it will be a little bit easier, but it will shift. And so that's what we kind of do, is it's this kind of constant rotation, because stuff in life happens and gets thrown at you. All right. So I want to give that just a little bit of an extra pressure. So I'm going to put my metal shim in, and then I'm just going to roll this through my Mini Blossom. And I love this little guy because he's really easy to keep on the desk. And yes, that's what I'm doing, is just using up my backgrounds. I might as well use what I have. And I feel like that helps as well, because sometimes we get overwhelmed with stuff and it's like, oh, when am I ever going to use this background again? Now is the time you're going to use it. All right, so that is this piece. I'm just going to keep everything in there. And then I'm going to grab this dark green. And this is my shadow section. And you notice I'm just cutting it to kind of fit so I can keep the rest of my paper for some other project. And this is not thick cardstock. This is relatively thin, because I don't need it to be thick. It's going to stay in a book. So it doesn't really need to be that thick. Okay. Bring this guy back in, and I'm just going to run him through again. And these go together relatively quickly. The Be and the Kind, when we look at it, are separated, so you have to put those together. We will. All right, so this is this guy. So here is my shadow layer. Here he is. There's my shadow layer. Die. And now what I'm going to do is just grab some glue. What I typically, what I'll show you is the easiest way, I think anyway, to kind of put all these together and make sure they're in the right location, is I'm actually going to use the negative space to line this up. And I can grab just a little bit of washi tape, but I'm just going to put this, actually, let me grab a piece. Whenever I'm using stuff on my desk, I always have to tape it down because it likes to jump on me. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of washi tape and put this down. There we go. We look lined up. All right, so this is going to go down now. All right, and then all I'm going to do is just come on in, flip these guys over. Whoops, that's a lot of glue. And just go ahead and add some glue to the back. And then I'm just going to put it back in like a puzzle. And that way I can make sure it's lined up how it's supposed to be lined up. So I'm kind of using that negative space to help me out. And because it's glue, if it's not perfect on there, I can, if I do this quickly enough, I'll have enough wiggle room to do this. And I like using glue for these kinds of things because it gives you wiggle room. If it's something like this, that's kind of quick versus if I'm trying to do it with, you know, trying to do this over and over again. All right, that did not stay in. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to pick this all up together and then use a little bit of wiggle room to get that exactly where I want it to go. And that B did not fit in. Okay, well, we're close. Okay, that kind is good. The B is crooked. So I'm going to move him over, lift him up, and get him where he needs to be. There we go. That's cute, right? All right. So now when I put him on my journaling page, and I would want to do this before I started stamping over there. I mean, I don't have to. I just want to put it in there. Is I'm going to put in be kind, and then I'm going to write to yourself. And I'm just going to grab, I could do this in stamping, but I'm just going to do it myself. And my journal is a dot journal, so I have lines here so I can see exactly what I'm doing. And that's my brush tip. I don't want to use that. All right. I'm not going to put that in because I want to stamp around it, but that's it. Yeah, myself. Oh, to yourself. Well, to myself. Yeah, that's a good point. I was thinking about it like I would tell somebody, be kind to yourself. But yes, you can write myself in there too, Tracy. But that's, again, this page is to help us when the world gets a little crazy and it feels like there's a lot of overwhelm and it feels like, you know what, I'm not exactly sure what to do or how to be. That's really what this page is for. This page is for you to kind of go back and remind yourself, what are the things that I have identified that help me? What are the things that I'm not doing that I could go back and do? That's what this page is for. So it's just a little bit of a placeholder for you. All right, so I'm going to get started. So I just wanted to check in. How are we doing? Are you feeling like you're a little bit more centered? Are you feeling like you've got a good list down of things that you enjoy, things that make you happy? Because sometimes I feel like when you're in that feeling of overwhelm, nothing's happy. And so you're not sure how you can pull yourself out. But it's like, you know what, I know if I do these things, it's going to help. And then, so that's really what this page is. All right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with setting up our next week. And so our next week is, what the heck is next week? What's tomorrow? Oh my gosh, February 6th. I didn't even write this down. All right. So 2, 6, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to the 12th. All right. 2, 12. Okay, so I like this layout. This is working for me. Feel free to change up your layout so it hits the things that work for you. And the stamp set that I want to use today is called Enjoy Life. I like this stamp set a lot. I like the fact I'm trying to pick open flowers because I love coloring. And that was one of the things I might do is put in a coloring page for myself. But I really like coloring and I like some of these things that are in here. So I'm going to add these flowers into that corner. And then I love the sentiments that are on here. So I thought those would be helpful too, because I'm trying to put in those sentiments in there. Oh, wow, tomorrow. Oh, thanks, Tina. I'm glad that you liked all the ideas. This is, again, it's all about kind of getting yourself started. Today's your day. Today's the day to start. That's it. So don't feel like, oh, I didn't start it in January, or, or even, I set all these resolutions for myself in January, and I've already not done any of them. It doesn't matter. It's really just kind of thinking about what the day is. We talked before about how it's little drops in a bucket, that when you're trying to build change, it's little drops in a bucket. It's not about big, huge things that you do. It's the little tiny things that you do, and doing those tiny things consistently. And that's what helps you. And that's what this is about when you have a habit tracker. And I know we talked too about, like, do I need to actually track habits? You can use this for whatever the heck you want to use it for. If you want to note birthday cards or card ideas, or art things, or you're like, you know what, I really just like going to museums and I want a place to write down all the things that I like when I go to museums, it's that. Or Irish festivals and what I do during them, Avril. That is a good one too. You can put that in. All right, so I'm going to keep this. I had a really hard time with tracking steps, but I'm going to put more of an effort into it. I just got to make sure I have my watch charged every day. And I'm going to keep my water. This is good. This has been really helpful because it's giving me a place to track how I'm feeling. So this is helpful. And I'm not sure about this. I'll keep it for one more week, but it hasn't been it has not been helping me because I'm not noticing a correlation between these things, but I'm not sure what else to put there. So I'm going to keep it. And then this has been helping because I'm keeping track of my dinners and what I'm eating every night. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start my weekly plan. And so this is February 6th to February 12th. And can someone double check that I put the right thing on there? Habit tracker will bring you down to earth. Yes, when you are feeling like you are up in the air, it will. Well, hopefully, maybe that's how Dorothy should have got home in the first place when she went all the way up. Maybe that's what she should have done. Is, sat down and did a little crafting time. That would have been good. All right, so I'm grabbing some thin washi. And I kind of want to change out. I just, like I said, use what you have. Don't try to, you don't need to go out and grab stuff. Just use with the stuff that you already have, because you bought it, you love it, or you inherited it. And why not use that? All right. And again, I like having the grid lines. I'm a big proponent of grid lines, but I know some people like having it blank. Okay, thanks, Ann, because I'm notorious for getting things wrong, especially dates. And I'm having fun, like, rediscovering my washi tape, I have to say, and using all these crazy washis that I have. All right. Okay, so what I like using, there's a stencil in Altenew. Let me grab this. And this I've been using every week. It's called the color swatches stencil. And I've been using this stencil here in order to track this side, and using this stencil here for this side. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. And I like the fact that there's different heights of boxes, even though the width is the same. I mean, I guess I could flip it, but the width is the same. That there's different heights, so I can change these up. Like if I wanted to put this with one of these larger boxes, I could do that. But I really like this stencil. This has been a great addition for this. All right. Okay. So I'm using this guy. I have found that the best way to do this, even though I know it's an odd number, is to do 3 in a row, and then use two rows and then 1 extra. That's what I've been doing. 3 rows and. All right, and I'm just taking my pen and just outlining these. And in fact, I'm going to switch over to my Flair pens, because these are not holding up well with this. All right. And I'd love to know what you guys are tracking. So what are the things that you all are tracking every week? It would be great to give me some ideas to see what I'm doing, to see if there's anything I want to add or change. So what are you guys tracking for habits, or what are you journaling? If it might not be habits, it might be ideas or things that inspire you in your creativity. It might be kind of keeping track of cards you made or other things that you're doing. So what is it that you are using your journal for? All right. And as I go through this, I'm kind of using this time as meditation, just thinking about my week and setting my intentions and thinking, all right, so I know this week, if I had to prioritize, it would definitely be water and steps. So kind of in that health bubble, that's what I would want to do. Because I feel like if that's not there, if sleep and food and steps and water are not there, it's just a little bit harder to kind of do everything else, in my opinion. All right, so I'm just going to write these days on here because I realized that when I did it before, it didn't. It was helpful when I had the days on here. So we have Monday, Tuesday. Oops, this was a little high. That's all right. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I just write the dates in. So February 6th, February 7, 8, February 9th. I'd love to know if anybody happens to go back and watch the replays, and if you would like me to abbreviate the replays so they're not all long, because I know we're going over an hour right now. Oh, that's great. Yep. Keeping track of cards, getting your room back in order. Yep. And then that's a lot, Tracy. That's good though. Diet Mountain Dews. That's a lot of them. Never been a soda person. And journal, who sent you cards? Avril, I have to say, I think Saskia sends way more cards than she receives, which is probably, I think, a goal for us all, to be honest. All right, I lost my tiny ruler. Okay. Yeah. All right, large ruler coming up. Larger ruler coming up. All right, so I'm just grabbing a ruler. I usually put a little box in here, and let me do it this size. And this box is just a place where I set my feelings for the next week. It's kind of my reflection box. How did I do? How did things go? That kind of thing. And that's what this box is. And I decorated a little bit, but that's what I do here. Okay, there we go. That's my box. And I put in what to work on for next week. This is the looking back to looking ahead, reflection for next week. I'll put that. Looking back to look ahead. There we go. Looking back to looking ahead. Oh, hi, Pam. Thank you for coming in. Oh, that cheese is your main. No. Finding some protein to add this week. All right. Do we have ideas for Tracy? That is great, Tracy. Hopefully we got some ideas for you. All right. I've been using, and I really like using the fun washi tape. It also gives me a reason for this thing, which is, saying, oh, hey, you purchased this, etc. So the font size, okay, large. This is my label maker, and it also prints in washi, which is kind of cool. And I like that because it's, you know, it's something that's a little bit different. Okay. Okay, print. Makes me feel a little bit better, like I'm using this. Ooh, this is a big one. All right. Okay. Might be too big. That's all right. Oh, yeah, that's big. Okay. We'll just cut off the ends. I made Evan a thing. He likes cats, so this one has these frames that you can do. So, Avril, you got to check this out. It's got a basket of yarn on one end and a cat playing with the yarn on the other. Unfortunately, I made it too big to fit in here, so I have to cut them off. Oh, I'm so sad. Sorry, cat. But it's really cute. It has like a whole bunch of different frames that you can put around for your stuff. It's really cute though. All right, so I put this around about-ish in the middle. Usually about. This one worked really well this time, so I'm just going to look. That's about 3.5 inches up. All right, so before I put that on though, I need to put on my dividing washi. And I like using washi for this to be like that divider. So it's really quick and easy and allows you to put in some fun colors. That's kind of the cool thing about it. So I'm going to put in some fun colors here. Add a little sparkle, add a little glitter. Hear the cat screaming, "No, Saskia." No, I promise. We'll use the cat somewhere. Cat will be there somewhere. All right, so it goes right about here-ish. And I am kind of eyeballing this. It's not anything crazy. I just like it because it gives it a little bit of color, you know, without me having to do much. It's just using, you know, different washi tape. Oh, there goes my inks. Just using a little bit of different washi tape. And hey, gets it out of my stash, which is great. I'm just cutting off the ends just to make sure they don't fray up. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to use my stencil again. And I really like this section if you want to make like columns of things. So I'm just going to use this and I'm going to start down at the bottom because I know this is where I want to end. And I'm just going to go ahead and just put some columns in. And I know I'm using, you're like, wow, this is a lot of dark colors. And it's just because this is just easier. And then I add the color in. So that was 4. So now I have 5, 6, and 7 here. So 5, is 1 for each day. So this is my mood tracker. 6 and 7. And then I got 1 spot up here. Just going to make it a little bit bigger. And that's for my title. So that title goes right there. Oops. And then I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. And then I have to say, like, I have fun. Like after the live, I actually kind of pause for a little bit and color this in, get it all set. And if it's not set, I'll bring it, you know, I'll finish it up tomorrow. And it gives me a little bit of crafting time that I get to do. Yeah, exactly, Tracy. That's what I was just saying. Oh, we will, Avril. She used paintbrushes, Avril. She used a paintbrush and alcohol inks. So instead of kind of blooping the alcohol ink right on the page, she paints it on with a paintbrush. That's how she does it. And then she used the foil on there. All right. Oh, that's a good idea, Pam. Gold to finish. And I think I was thinking about that. I could use the cat and the yarn as a decoration, Tracy, because that's cute. I don't want to lose that. So I'll add him somewhere. I'll put him somewhere. All right. So down here are my graphs where I track water and exercise. So here is my water tracker. And this is very probably unscientific, really. It's really just a little L. It's a little graph. And I like graphs because they're a nice visual representation. And if my students ever found this page, they would agree with that completely because I tell them all the time. And so graphs just really help you to visualize your information very quickly, and it sums it up for you. You're like, oh, okay, now I see it. All right. And pets are companions. All right. And then what I do here is I just put, so this is my water tracker, and I'm just going to put my dates in. So here's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you can line it up with your dots. I just kind of do it randomly. And then over here, I'm going to do the same thing where I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And just again, just kind of putting little hash marks that's where that's going to go. And I can use, this is a little bit narrower, so I'm actually going to put this right up at the top here. And I'm going to go ahead and just put these in just as little labels for what the heck is going on. And then to be even more unscientific, I think about when my goal is. And for my goal for water anyway, so I'm going to put water in here. So this is water. And this is two things. This is steps. And this is stretching. So there's two things I'm doing in here. And for water, my top water that I want to get to is 80 ounces. Sorry, I'm not putting that into liters here, but sorry about that, Saskia. And I know that this is 0. So all I'm going to do is just kind of eyeball where the heck the half is. So the half is probably somewhere about here. So that's 40 ounces. And I know I minimally have tea. So I'm going to take this part and I'm going to half that as well. And so that is 20 ounces. So that's about half. And that's kind of how I roughly graph. That probably should be up a little bit higher, but that's okay. For steps, my goal is 8,000. And so half of that, roughly about right here, is 4,000. And then half of that again is about 2,000. And that's how you do your graph. So you don't have to sit there and kind of really make sure it's all in there, but it's getting close. All right, so I'm going to grab that Enjoy Life, and I want to stamp this in. And then I'll show you how I will finish this off. So let me do these two as well. Mood and crafting. And again, I love these little open florals, and there's even little doodads that you can add in and little things you can do. So I like this. So I like Today is Another Chance. I'm going to put that on my. Here we go. All right, so I got my stamp block set up. And I'm going to grab this little flower and see how this fits. Oh, yeah, that's nice. I like him kind of going into the other things. All right, and I need my black ink. And because I'm going to be using coloring pencils, any sort of, any ink is fine. I'd rather use like the permanent or the jet black, which are not oil-based because the colored pencils have a little bit of oil in them. And yeah, I think so too. No, I don't think that's copping out. So maybe being kind to ourselves is changing the intention amount to be achievable. Yeah, I agree, Tracy. And I think about it this way is like, so it's about being consistent, and I know where I want to head to, and I'm not going to, if I don't get to 80 ounces of water, it's not a bad day. It just means that I didn't get to 80 ounces of water. It's just a data point. And so when you look at it without any sort of emotion on it, it's like, okay, I know I want to get to 80. So what are the steps that I have to do to get to 80? But I'm not going to say to myself, you failed today, because I didn't. I did drink water. I just didn't drink as much as I would like to. I drank 20 ounces or I drank 40 ounces. So tomorrow, I'm going to try to drink 80. If I can't get to 80, I'll do 60. And so what this chart will do is it will start to track that progress. So if I'm consistent at 40, that's great because you know what? I'm consistent. And so now I'm going to try to move that line up. Can I be consistent at 50? So my overall goal is still here. I want to keep that in sight, but I'm not going to say that I failed if I didn't get to a certain thing. So, and yeah, the time element. Oh, I hate the time element. I know, I hate SMART goals. And I'm just looking back at your guys' comments. And I have to say, thank you so much for all of the comments. They are really fabulous. I really enjoy reading them. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate your time and taking some time to set up your week. And actually, you're helping me set up my week. So I know that's kind of crazy to think about, but I wouldn't honestly be doing this except for the fact that you are all here. And I am doing this for you, or with you, I should say. I'm doing this with you. And I really need a new ink pad. And this is such a beautiful, pretty open flower. All right, here we go, Tracy. I'm trying it again. Let's see if this works. Oh, good. I'm glad, Michi. I'm glad you're enjoying this. And that's it. And that's the hard part, Tracy, is keeping the emotion out. It's not an easy task. And I know I might say it that way, but it really isn't easy. But that's when I'm thinking about it as an intention and not a goal. And I feel like if I had it as a goal, then I'd failed at the goal. But if it's my intention, I'm working towards it and I will get there eventually. And thank you guys for being here. And I'm so glad you're enjoying this, Tina. And I'm so glad you get your journal and you're going to start on your own stuff, what it is that you want to do. And I know you mentioned you've been crafting a long time, Tina. So I know you've amassed a lot of stuff. This is a great way to use it. That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, oh, I can just use all my stuff. It's great. Okay, so I'm going to grab my sentiment. So this is what I want to put in to remind me of what the heck is my focus this week. This is my quote of the week. And I love Altenew for having all these ridiculously awesome little quotes. And I think this works. All right, this one's going to be tough to stamp over there, but I can do it. I can do it. All right, so I'm going to show you guys. I know we're over a bit, and thank you for staying with me. And I know we're over a bit, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm going to talk about next week. I'd love some ideas for things that you would like to see. I was thinking about tabs. I was thinking about bookmarks and etc. I know, washi tapes and pens. It's like those are the things we have. By the way, Tracy, this is working. So your suggestion is brilliant. Thank you. Look at that. Awesome. I can fix that easily. Is another chance. And that's why I put that quote in. So today is another chance. Because that's the way I think about it. Every time you wake up, it's what is that, Anna Green Gables? Every day is a day without, when you wake up in the beginning anyway, it's a day without mistakes. That's the way I think of it. All right, so that's my habit tracker for the week. And pockets. Oh boy, Pam. Whoa. That's going to be, that might be nice because then you can keep some things in there. We can talk about pockets. I was trying to keep this flat because mine's bound. And if I had too many things in there, I might get a little nuts. So I was keeping mine that, but I'll talk about that. Flowers. I wanted to set up a coloring page. I thought that might be fun. So that's my page for the week. So what am I going to do now? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some details using my Flair pens. So these are the Papermate pens. I love these. They're fine liners. They are really, they're so easy to use. And I just keep them in a little cup in here. And this kind of, these two things sit on my desk. And this is where I start and end my day, or this is really where I end my day. And then, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to color in. So I color code these by rainbow. I like to take some of my Flair pens and just make some outlines around some of the boxes. I'm going to color in my flower, and I'm going to color code my mood and crafting. And then I added these little hearts because I thought they were cute. And these are from the Altenew Mandela Maker set. They have these really cute hearts and circles and little gems in there that you can use as little decorations around your page. In fact, I'm going to use some of these circles on the page where I make my little bubbles. And so I'm going to fill these in with some color, and this is a way to color code what it is that you want. So if you're doing steps or stretching, I'm going to color code them in green or red. So I'm keeping track of those for that. All right. Yes, I do. I do that same thing. I hold my breath and say a prayer every time I stand. So yes, I know. And Mishi, I was thinking about that because you could do this on loose leaf paper and then put them into like a small photo album. And that way you would be able to do more. Like Pam was saying, like you can add a pocket in. I think it would give you more flexibility. I just decided because this is my first time really sticking with this. Oh, it does have a pocket. This is my first time sticking with it. So I thought I'd use a bound book because it would kind of keep me honest. But if we did use loose leaf papers, then you can move them around and change them up. Like now, when I have this section, I can't put this in like in the front of my book. It's now in the middle, but I'm okay with that. This also comes with a like a table of contents, which is kind of nice that you can go ahead and look at that and see what all your pages are. But just in case if you have anything for there. All right, so I wanted to say thank you guys. Let me come on up and say thank you for this. My glasses on. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. I hope that you're finding this helpful. I'd love it if you shared this out with some friends who you think would be helpful and that they can come and join us on Sundays at 3:00 Eastern time. And I'm hoping to run this as long as I can. And just gives us an opportunity to, again, set those weeks to set it up. And Tracy, that's a great idea. It's just regular white cardstock and mixed media paper in a 3-ring binder. That's great. You probably had those and you can use them. And that's a really, really great thing to do. So I hope that you have an amazing week this week, that you set your intentions and hopefully you meet them. If not, you are making progress towards them. And that really is the most important thing, is just the progress. That's it. That's all you're doing. All right. So thank you guys so much. And I will see you back here. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do. And you will get a notification that we're live. And I've been putting these up like a couple of days in advance. So that way you can see this and, be notified when it is that we go live. And I'm putting this on Instagram as well. And I'll try to hit a couple of other social media channels around. But it would be really helpful if you shared this out too. All right. Thank you. And thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you being here. And I hope that you have a fabulous week. All right. Thank you.